Okay. All right. So let's talk about the compensation plan, which is, I think, the most lucrative one in the industry, but I would like to break it down and really explain how it works. Now, let's look at it overall, what we're talking about, the structure. What we have with Agile is called the Quadra plan. Now, the name Quadra, of course, that comes from four, because what Agile has done is taken the very best elements of the four major compensation plans that have been used for the last 50 years or so. For now, just know that this plan that we're talking about today comes from four types of plans. We've taken the best elements of those and left out the bad stuff. Now, some other things about the plan that I think we should look at is, of course, we need to know that everything is paid on CV, which stands for commissionable volume. Just means the product volume that the commission is going to be based on. Now, why do we do that? We do that because that allows us to do something very special, which is to have a seamless compensation plan across 16 countries right now and growing. Because what the CV allows you to do is you could adjust the CV in certain nations based on economic factors like how much is the Aussie dollar worth versus the US dollar, or how much is the Japanese yen versus the Canadian dollar, or whatever the case may be, so that you can be in St. John and sponsor someone in Singapore. You can sponsor people in Texas. You could sponsor people in Sri Lanka, in Malaysia, and you know what? It all comes on one bonus check. It all goes seamless into your pay plan, into your back end of the office of your website. So that's what CV is. So that's why a box of product, we'll say a $60 box of product has a 50 CV in North America. The $75 products have a 65 CV in North America. The kits we have 50% CV because we pay out a special commission on those, right? We pay the fast start commission. So the retailer pack, which by the way is going to start April 1st, that's $250. CV is $125. The executive kit is $1,000, and the CV is $500. So everything is based on CV. The other thing you should know about the basic of the plan is there's a 50% cap on payout, meaning the company will pay up to 50 cents of every dollar that comes in out in commissions. Because people will ask you that. If you notice, if you've ever drawn out the comp plan, people say, well, won't they run out of money? You know, does that just go forever? I mean, how come they don't go broke? Well, of course, we're not going to make money if the company doesn't make money. If the company doesn't make money, it's not going to stay in business. Nobody's going to get products. So the plan is set up to design to pay up to 50 cents on the dollar in CV, okay, for bonus plans. So that's the basic for the plan. And then I think the other thing you should know about is just the philosophy behind compensation plans and how they're created. Two things that I think are really important elements here. One is you will be approached by people with other companies, and they'll say, oh, Agile is only paying 50% in the pay plan. Our company pays 65%, 75%. There was a company a while back that was actually claiming to pay out 90% of the pay plan, which was true. They did have a compensation plan that would pay out 90% if everybody qualified at a perfect level. But of course, people don't all qualify at a perfect level. They have something which is called breakage in the industry. So it says, let's say that it's a breakaway company. They might say you need, when you have 5 people break away, you become a diamond director and you get the special diamond bonus. Okay, great. But see, if you only have 4 people break away, you wouldn't get that diamond bonus, would you? It would roll up to somebody, or it would roll up to the company. So sometimes startup companies, they'll create these plans that pay 60, 70, 80, 90% on paper, but of course they set the qualification criteria so high that nobody actually qualifies for that. What you look for is how much actually gets paid out to distributors. So the philosophy I look for, I never look for a company that has the highest payout in their compensation plan, because that's really a meaningless figure. What I look for is who has the best paid distributors. Meaning, what people really do with the activity that they really do and what they're making in the plan, what kind of bonus checks are they taking home, and of course I think we've got the best paid distributors in the business because of what we do. And the reason for that is the second element of the plan that I think from a philosophical standpoint is important that you be aware of, is that it pays you for taking the correct behavior. Because that's the way it's designed. And it's, the plan that Glenn and the guys came up with is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. And one of the reasons that makes it so is the plan rewards people for taking the correct behavior. See, there are plans where it may penalize you. If I sponsor Ivan, and Ivan does too good, it might penalize me in some plans. I said, well, geez, you know, if Ivan gets up to 10,000 a month in volume, he's going to become a director, and he's going to break away, and then I'm going to lose that volume from my group. And then I won't qualify, and so my bonus check will go down. So what has happened now? I have a vested interest in keeping Ivan not as successful as he could be. Now, how crazy is that? Well, if you wonder, why do some companies never really hit the traction? How come they don't grow? A lot of times it's a flaw in the design of the compensation plan because they haven't created it to reward the correct behavior. One of the things we've done with Agile is we've created a two-legged structure. Everybody's got a left side, everybody's got a right side. So somebody like Eric Worre, who told you today he's put in, what, 34, 36 people or whatever, right? He has a left side and he has a right side. He doesn't have 34 sides, he has two. So where did the other 32 people go? They have to go somewhere in those two legs, okay? But unlike a binary plan where they cap it at 5,000 a week or they wash the volume every month. Now, why do binaries wash the volume every week? See, they tell you that's because you get weekly paychecks. That's not why they do that. They wash that volume every week because that creates more breakage. And the breakage goes up to the top of the plan, which either is a couple distributors there who got a sweetheart deal, or it's the CEO's wife and his daughter and his dog and his cat and his parrot, and the top 10 slots are all filled with these sweetheart deals, and that's why the volume's got to be washed every week. Okay? So what you want is a plan that rewards you for doing the correct behavior. So we've got a two-legged structure, so it means the second you join Agile, immediately there's a whole line of people above you who have a vested interest in your business, who all of a sudden you have now become part of their team volume commission. You've now become part of their group. I didn't sponsor Ivan. Eric Worre sponsored Ivan, but Ivan is in my group. Why? Because Eric only has two legs to build. He can put the other 32 people somewhere else. You know, I've sponsored 70 people in the business. I've got two legs. Where did the other 68 go? They're under those people. So, just some overall philosophy stuff. Now let's look at the actual how the plan works, these 8 ways that we make money with Agile. Okay? And I just want to make sure that you really understand how they work. Now, the first one, this is a pretty simple one. We all know this one, is retail profit. Now, the retail profit margin between the wholesale price that you pay and the suggested retail price is 20%. Now, this takes place when you order a box of product or a case of product, you've got it at your house, somebody would like to buy it, you give them the product, they give you the money, you're going to add on 20% for that. That's the way the business had to be done for 40 years. But now, with FedEx and 800 numbers and fax machines and computers and overnight shipping, that doesn't have to happen because then you get a preferred customer program like we have with Agile. So what you can do is you can sign up a customer direct. They can order direct from the company. They get the product direct from the company. You don't take the order. You don't see the order. You don't deliver the product. You don't see the product. It just adds to your volume. Now, it's $5 a box difference from wholesale to a preferred customer. Okay? So if they buy a $60 box of product, right, the customer is going to pay $65. If they bought the $75 product, they're going to pay $80. This is what a preferred customer pays when they buy from the company. Now, here's the deal for you. If they're on the auto ship program, that saves the company a lot of money. It's a standard order. They can plan ahead. They can gauge their inventory, and they're going to pay you that extra $5 as a profit fee. If they're not on auto ship, if they just called or went online and bought 1 or 2 boxes of products at a time, you won't get the $5. That's going to go to the company to cover the fulfillment of that order. What it does do for you, though, is it puts that CV into your group. And, of course, you get to choose when you place someone. Here's you. You've got an income center here and here if you're also an executive. You can say, I want to put this customer on this side, or I want to put the customer on this side. And you could have as many customers here as you can. And I'd encourage you to have 5 or 10 customers on each side and let them be ordering product every month. And what's going to happen to you is all that's going to add to your volume that you're getting your team volume commission on and all the bonus pools and all of that stuff. Okay? So the preferred customer program is a great way that you don't, because see, in other words, give up the retail profit. I don't want to have a bunch of boxes delivered to my house every month, and then I'm calling up people and driving around town and delivering them. Then I got to get a white van, and I got to put a magnetic sign on the side of it. I got to drive around. I might as well join, Amway, right? Back, how those companies operate. We don't need that. We've got a state-of-the-art thing. So I'm willing to give up some retail profit, and I think you should too, to know, hey, I can just get these people signed up, get them in the preferred customer program, they're ordering direct, and that's building my volume. And think about one of the things I told you this morning. If you build that culture in your organization of a preferred, the people who choose not to do the business, we get them on the products anyway. And the people who try the business and don't like it, but they continue to use the products. If we develop that customer base, instead of getting paid on a volume of $300,000, you're going to get paid on a volume of $1 million, because that's how it duplicates when it really gets down at the other levels. Okay? So there's and the other thing you're going to see is we get into the bottom of the compensation plan. At the higher rank advancements, all of the qualifications are based on the number of personally sponsored directors that you have. So it starts with senior director. You've got to have 2 personally sponsored. And it goes up. At diamond director, you have to have 6. At double diamond is 8. And then it goes to 12. And you actually need 20 at quadruple diamond. If you talk to anybody in Agel who's shooting for senior director, shooting for corporate director, you always say, how's it going? They say, oh, I got the volume. I don't have the directors yet. If you build this culture in your organization, that will go away overnight. You'll never have the director qualification problem, because your people will be doing easy $20,000, $30,000 volumes halfway into the month, because they've got all those people doing that. Okay, second way you earn is fast start commissions. Now this is very simple. There's 3 levels, $35, $75, and $200. These are what you get paid when people join the business and purchase one of the 3 entrance kits, the activation orders. Now, make sure, because I've seen some slides out here and I've seen some presentations out here where people are calling this a bonus. Please don't call it a bonus. Call it exactly what the company calls it, a fast start commission. Why am I stickler on that point? Because one of the things, every country is different, but one of the things, for instance, here in the United States and Canada, that separates an illegal pyramid from a legitimate network marketing company is we don't pay headhunter fees. Okay? You never make money for signing up anyone. Because if you made even 1 cent, if Agel came up with a promotion and said, hey, we're going to pay you 1 penny for every new distributor you sign up this month, we'd get closed down the next day. Because that 1 penny is a headhunter fee, and that would make it a pyramid in probably 15 or 20 different states around the U.S. So what this is a commission on the activation order. See, all the money we make in Agel, very important you understand this, any legitimate network marketing company like Agel, all of the income you make is only commissions on the sale of product that reach the end consumer. Everything you make on your bonus check is a override or a commission on the volume produced by your organization. Okay? Everybody with me so far? Okay, so let's look at the third way you earn, which is the executive bonus. Now, this is what I remember this morning when we talked about this, I called this transitional income. These two here, this is startup money. As soon as you get in the business, you can make retail profit. As soon as you get in the business, you can make fast start commission. What the executive bonus does, and again, this is just brilliant planning on the company's part, the idea behind this is to create a bonus that gives you some money while you're in those middle stages. You're not a big corporate director yet. You don't have 5,000 people in your group yet. You're out there, you've done something, you've got a few people going, you're training them, you're working in depth in the organization. This allows you to earn during that time. Because now this one, of course, you have to come in at the executive level or the developer level to qualify for this, no, just executive level, I'm sorry, to qualify for this bonus, because it's only for people who came in at that level. And what it is, so here's you've got your two income centers because you came in the executive level. Each month you're going to grow your business, right? Grow here, grow there. You have a left leg and a right leg. One of them at the end of the month is going to have a higher volume than the other. Might be $100 difference, could be $10,000 difference, could be $80,000 difference, okay? But whatever it is, it's going to grow. Well, as you grow that lesser leg, each $1,000, you get a share in the executive bonus. Now, the executive bonus is a 3% pool of all company sales. So we've got 16 countries right now, more on the way, right? We take all those sales, we put them in a great big cookie jar. We take 3% of them, they go in the cookie jar, and then everybody who qualifies for the executive bonus gets to divide up what's in that cookie jar. So see, this is not a finite or a fixed amount. It's going to change every month depending on how many people qualify and what the sales of the company are. So for each $1,000 increase equals one share in the pool. So if you increase your lesser leg $8,000 this month, you're going to get 8 shares. If you increase $22,000 this month, you'll get 22 shares. It actually goes up to 40 shares. And though you should know, you actually, if you went up one month and then you backslid back a little next month and then you went up again, you actually could get more than 40 shares. But it caps out once it reaches 40,000 in volume in that lesser leg. Because again, that's transitional money. Now, don't think, okay, so I should go backwards this month so I could get more shares next month. That's not a very good strategy. Trust me, you're going to lose a lot of money that way, okay? So now, you've got this income center and you have these. Question is going to come up. Can you earn the executive bonus on these other two income centers? The answer is no. I was very excited last month. I was telling people you could because I actually made money on these income centers. That was actually an error that they didn't know in the software. So there was a month or two where they were paying that out, but that was never meant to be. The executive bonus is just paid on your initial income center up to 40 shares. Okay? So every $1,000 you go. So now just to give you an idea how it works, average shares, they're running about $60 from what I can see the last few months. So if you can get 40 shares times $60, it means $2,400, right? So somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 in transitional money that you can earn from going from the startup money down to 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is, of course, where we get to the really delicious income with the plan. Okay, fourth way you earn, the Agel expense allowance. Now, this was just something the company created to say, hey, we know you got expenses growing the business. You're going to be driving to places. You might meet a prospect for lunch. You're going to fly to Dallas and go to the Epicenter event. You got a plane fare, hotel room. So let's give you some money to help grow your business. So the way this works is as soon as you qualify for senior director, they give you $500 a month for expense allowance. They don't want receipts. You don't have to submit a report. There's no paperwork at all. If you qualify for that rank, they're going to add $500 to your bonus check that month. You go up to corporate director, it goes up to $1,000 a month. You get to diamond director, it's $1,500 a month. Double diamond is $2,000 a month. Triple diamond is $2,500 a month. And quadruple diamond is $3,000 a month expense allowance. Again, no receipts, no paperwork, just money to help you build your business. Okay? So that's the Agile expense allowance. Simple and easy. Everyone can understand that. Fifth way you earn, this one's my favorite, the Agile car fund. Okay? Same exact formula as we have for the expense allowance. Qualify for senior director, they'll pay you $500. Corporate director, $1,000. Now this is every month now. Every month you're qualified, right? Diamond director, $1,500. Double diamond, $2,000. Triple diamond, $2,500. And quadruple diamond, $3,000 a month. Now the question always comes up. People say, Randy, do you really need $3,000 US to buy a nice car? Yes. All right, sixth way you earn, the Agile Travel Fund. Now this one is another pool of company revenue. It's approximately 1% of company sales goes into this pool. And when you qualify for senior director for at least 3 months in a year, you get a share. Now, if you qualify corporate director, you'd have a bigger share. If you qualify diamond director, your share gets bigger. If you qualified for 3 months of the year, you'd have a certain amount of money. If you qualify for 6 months of the year, you'd have twice as much money, right? If you qualify for 9 months out of the year, you'll have more. So somebody who qualifies at a higher rank, because this is senior director and above, so corporate director, diamond director, double, triple, quadruple, all of those people split the travel fund. So this is one of the ones, if somebody asks you, how much money is that? How much did I earn for that? You don't really have an answer for that, because it's a share divided by the number of people who qualify that month. Okay? So if there's 30 people who qualify for the travel fund this month, they're going to divide that money. If there's 40 people next month, 40 people are going to divide that money. But of course, again, the sales fluctuate each month. So as you have more people qualifying, you usually have more sales in the pool. So you can't give them a finite answer, but it's a pretty simple that, hey, once a year you can win a free trip to Hawaii or someplace like that in the wintertime. And that's about the best way to describe the travel plan. Okay? And just know that your goal, if you want to be cruising with us and taking these trips, your goal is to get to senior director and stay qualified as senior director and above. And you'll definitely, so what you're going to see is, let's take a Hawaii trip for example. A senior director, they might win a plane trip there. A corporate director might win a plane trip there and part of their hotel expenses. A quadruple diamond might win 2 first-class tickets, their hotel room paid, and a couple $1,000s in spending money, extra and above, depending on what rank you get and how many of the 12 months you're qualified for. Okay? Everybody got that? Say yes. All right. Seventh way you earn. Now, 7 and 8, this is where most people are going to make the majority of their money. These are, if you want to know, if you really want to understand the compensation plan, if you want to be able to explain this to other people in the business and let them know why we have the most lucrative compensation plan, why we have the highest paid distributors, it's number 7 and number 8. Okay? Number 7 is the team volume commission. Now go back to our example before. You got 2 legs you're building. You building, and you can go outside. You can go inside, right? It doesn't matter how you build. Once again, you got a left leg and a right leg. You're going to have a greater leg and a lesser leg. The team volume commission is simply 10% of your lesser leg every month. So if your lesser leg volume is $10,000, you're going to make $1,000. If your lesser leg volume is $100,000, you'll make $10,000. Now this caps out at $250,000 CV a month. So if you've got $250,000 in your lesser leg, you'll make $25,000 for your team volume commission. Okay? That's why I say this is where a lot of you are going to make a lot of your money. So you can actually get that maxed out at $25,000 a month. Now, if you have a hard time living on $25,000 a month, if you find you're still clipping coupons and you know, going to early bird dinners, you come over here, because remember, you've got income center number 2, right? You come down and build that out, you're going to get 10% of whatever the lesser leg is there. So again, if you've got 20,000 of them, you'll make $2,000. If you've got 100,000, you make 10 grand. So if you max that out, that's another 250,000. You make another 25,000. So you'll actually be making, you can make 50,000 in team volume commission. And again, if that still isn't enough, you come over here, you've got income center number 3, you open that up, you're going to get 10% of the lesser leg, so you can actually make another 25,000 a month with that. So you can actually max out at $75,000 a month for just your team volume commission. Okay? So you see why I have these bags under my eyes, guys? You see why I have a hard time sleeping at night? After 20 years in the business, I'm still, you know, more excited than I have ever been. This compensation plan is a big reason. And the last element of it, the biggest one, and the one that causes more sleepless nights for more people, is this one, the leverage matching bonus. Now what this is a 25 to 50% matching bonus for whatever your people make in their team volume. Now you qualify for this as soon as you get to manager. You start to earn 25%. And to give you an idea how this is, so you really understand, because this is the one, if somebody's been in network marketing, if they're in network marketing now, if they understand how compensation plans work, when they see this one, they're going to flat out hallucinate. Because here's you, right, and you sponsor, you got your income centers. You sponsor this guy, and you got one here, and one down here, and one down here. It does not matter where in the structure they are. Okay, anybody that you personally enroll, you're going to get a matching bonus of 25 to 50% of whatever their team volume commission is. Okay, so in terms of how this bonus is paid in the computer, it looks like this. Here's you, and then here's everybody you sponsor. It doesn't matter if they're 3rd level, 5th level, 8th level, 18th level, 82nd level, 112th level. It doesn't matter. Anybody that chooses your personal enrollee, you get 25 to 50% of. So when you get to the higher ranks, you're actually making 50% of whatever they make in team volume commission. So if, you know, example, if they're making 200 a month, you make 100. If they make 400, you'd make 200. If they made 1,000, you'd make 500. If they made 10 grand, you'd make 5 grand. If you got someone who maxed out an income center at 25,000, you'd make 12,500. If you got someone who did 3 income centers, that's 37,500. Whatever they make. And they never break away. It's not like these breakaway companies. People get to a certain rank and then they break away and they go somewhere else. That doesn't happen here. They are your personal enrollee. They're your personal enrollee forever. And when people who understand the business, people of influence, see this, you know, if they're the kind of person who could put 18 people in the deal, 38 people in the deal, 51 people in the deal, if they're one of those rock and rollers who could really put some people in the deal, when they see this, they will hallucinate, they will levitate, they will something take, okay? They just, I mean, they'll just go crazy. And this is what... This is why I say we're going to create, you hear Trader say this, you hear Eric say this, you hear me say this, Gary says this, we're going to produce the biggest bonus checks that have ever been created in network marketing history, and this is the reason why. Because if you just think about this, do a little abstract on how it works exponentially. Because the big thing about this is that's the first level. It pays on 7 levels. When you're a manager, and just I'll give you the exact thing. When you're a manager, you make 25% on your personally sponsored people. You get 8% on the 2nd generation, 8% on the 3rd, and 8% on the 4th. That's also true for senior manager. That's also true for director. 25% people you personally enroll, and then 8%, 8%, 8%. Now, when you get up to regional director, this 25% goes to 30%. And then you get 8, 8, and 8 again. When you get up to corporate director, this 30% goes to 35%. You get 8, 8, 8. And then you pick up 10% on the 5th generation of people. Go to diamond, the 35 goes to 40. You get the 8, the 8, the 8, the 10, and you pick up another 10%. And when you go from double diamond, triple diamond, or double diamond, you go to 45%, 8, 8, 8, 10, and 10. And just this 5%, believe me, this can make a big difference in your check. When you go to triple diamond, this 45% goes to 50%, and then you get the 8, 8, 8, 10, 10, and you actually get 6% on the 7th generation, and the quadruple diamond gets the same thing. Now, think about how this works in the real world. If you're somebody who actually goes out, you could put 14 people in, first level, personally enrolled people. You're getting 25 to 50% of what those 14 people do. What's going to happen with the 14? Some are going to drop out. Some are going to coast along. Some are going to go out and sponsor 8, 10, 15 people, right? So your 14 people might be 30 people on the 2nd generation that you're getting 8% on. What would the 3rd generation look like? If you have 30 people on the 2nd, you know how these numbers go, so you might have 50, 55 on the 3rd generation. The next generation might be 120. The next generation might be 800. The next generation could be 1,500, 2,000, because we know as we go deeper, we get wider, we get lots more people. And when you start to understand what 10% on this level and 10% on this level look like at that stage of maturity, once your group is 3, 4, 5 years old, this is why I'm telling you, we're going to produce the biggest bonus checks that have ever been done in network marketing. And this leverage matching bonus is one of the key reasons why. All right. All right.